H.P. Lovecraft is one of the most prolific and revered horror writers of all time. So what would happen if you took one of his most famous stories and had it adapted by an incredible mangaka like Gou TANABE? Well, you'd have it here in At the Mountains of Madness. H.P. Lovecraft's one of his most famous stories, adapted by Gou TANABE in this beautiful presentation by Dark Horse Comics. You're going to want to take a look at this book, I promise, and the story is even better than the presentation somehow. But watch this video till the end. All right, the topic for today is H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness Deluxe Edition, adaptation and artwork by Gou TANABE. This is a beautiful, beautiful presentation. If you're familiar with Dark Horse's manga, their deluxe editions, they've done Berserk, Blade of the Immortal, Hellsing, and now they're doing Trigun. But this was the fourth, I guess, in that line of deluxe hardcover manga. And I hope it's not the last of the Gou TANABE work, because he's done a lot of H.P. Lovecraft adaptations, and I hope we get them all in these deluxe editions. But I want to show off the presentation of this book before we dive into the story. Here's a beautiful, beautiful spine. Looks great on the shelf. You got the Dark Horse logo here. Title of the book there, adaptation and artwork by Gou TANABE. Here's the back cover. The UPC thing here is a sticker. Like, I don't know, I'm not going to peel mine off, but it does feel like you could peel it off if it bothers you. And it is a wraparound cover. Oh, geez. My book just cracked. So I'm going to show off the whole cover there. It is an all wraparound cover. But it's a wraparound cover done the right way, to where the title on the spine is still visible. Sometimes wraparound covers make that kind of muddled. Or they'll cut off the image here and there. Very good book design here. So opening up, here are the in papers. Really, really beautiful in papers. I think they're, oh yeah, they are different on both sides, which is always great. I always love that kind of attention to detail. It does come with a beautiful silver ribbon to match the hardcover and everything like that. And the edges of the pages are gilded silver. You can see how they shine right there, all around. Very beautiful. It's a great presentation. So then opening it up here, this does read right to left, like your traditional manga. Here's the title page. I think the original, because they did release this as a smaller, not even tankobon, it was smaller than tankobon sized. And I think this was the cover they used, but it wasn't silver. And that's one of the things I was hoping that this got the deluxe edition treatment, because you'll see when I flip through here, Gou TANABE's artwork is so highly detailed and beautiful. You want it in an oversized format. So this is like just right for that format. So I'm glad they're doing this. I did not buy them in the smaller format because I wanted it oversized. So here's a great quote by Edgar Allan Poe. And another quote by Edgar Allan Poe. And you'll see here in this little blurb talking about the influence that Edgar Allan Poe had on H.P. Lovecraft. Here's the table of contents, which is beautifully laid out. You got the title lettering in Japanese as well as English with the foreword. All the chapter, there's 23 chapters within this, and then afterward. This graphic novel is based on the story by H.P. Lovecraft. The At the Mountains of Madness was originally published in 1931, or sorry, written in 1931, published in 1936. And then the prologue, After the Storm. So what the story is about, if you're not familiar, and I just want to preface with saying I'm not an H.P. Lovecraft expert, but I am trying to learn as much as I can about H.P. Lovecraft. So please, by all means, in the comments down below, offer any sort of insight or anything you can provide about H.P. Lovecraft and his works, because I really do want to learn more. But here's just a great example of this two-page spread. And there's so many two-page spreads throughout this book, and they are, like I said, this book is beautifully designed by Dark Horse. There is no gutter loss within here or any of the other two-page spreads throughout the book. It's laid out beautifully, it lays flat. You don't lose any of the detailed, magnificent artwork by Gou TANABE. So what the story is about is you have these explorers. You have different scientists of different backgrounds. You have like a chemist, a physicist, a biologist, and they're going to Antarctica. I love it. Sorry, I'll get back into that in a second. I love this cinematic approach here, though. So you have this, zoom in on the guy's face, then you pull out at the mountains. You pull out a little bit further to see more mountaintops. pull out even further for planet Earth, and then you get this great title page. It's such a cinematic approach to this presentation here. And then you get from the journals of Captain James Cook from 1775. All right, so all these explorers are going to the Antarctica to explore. They all recognize that all previous explorers that have gone to Antarctica have failed and died. Nobody's really survived this kind of expedition. But they feel like they have the right team, right crew to do it. So they go, again, with all these different scientists of different backgrounds, which plays a role in this, because there will be certain aspects of the mission that play into the expertise of one versus the other. Where like the biologist might be more of an expert in this aspect of the mission, or the chemist or the physicist, and that plays into the drama of the story as well. And that's what this whole story is drenched in, is drama and interactions between comrades on this trip. But what plays into this is finding and exploring new things. So you have like this tension between these two different scientists on this trek, and one of them thinks that they should go down this path, one of them thinks they should go down this other path. Here's again this great Spreads by Gou TANABE. Like, really, you need to have this book in your hands and flip through it. If you've ever seen it in a bookstore and you can flip through it, by all means, please do, because you have to see it in person to really experience this. And I think just reading it also brings more to it too. Because I am afraid if you just flip through it, you'll see a bunch of static images of people's faces. But really, when you're reading it, the tension that builds up by Gou TANABE and H.P. Lovecraft is just magnificent. It's this constant dread and this constant building of tension from every aspect of this trip, where they seem like they're going to encounter a new danger. And you know, going into this is H.P. Lovecraft. You know there's going to be some sort of monster involved in some aspect, right? So, but you don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe you've seen other adaptations, so maybe you do. But me, maybe being a novice H.P. Lovecraft reader, it helped me in that regard. But you're just constantly building towards this thing, and these page turns are magnificent, because it's like you're just waiting for you to flip a page and see a giant monster come at you. But they go on this mission, and they find this cave, and half the team wants to go explore this cave, and half the team wants to stay back and explore what they're supposed to. And so they just go off. They just run off on this airplane and go for it, against the wishes of the other parts of the team. And then they get lost. There's this terrible storm in Antarctica, the terrible blizzard. They lose communication on the radios between teams. So even the team that went off separately, they can't communicate with them. So now the team that stayed behind has to go explore and find out what happened to them and try to find them. And what they find is truly horrific. And at the Mountains of Madness, the word madness is key there, because truly the key tension and key monster, key narrative of the story is losing yourself in the madness of being isolated in this terrible, terrible, faraway land, in this bitter, bitter cold, with not having all the resources you need to survive. So even the most smart, clear-headed, level-headed member of the team starts to lose himself into the madness of that necessity to explore land that's never been discovered by any other person, but also needing to find his teammates. That madness that takes away from any sort of inclination of what his true, usual instincts would be. Those are lost due to the madness that he's facing. And then that causes a bunch of despair. And H.P. Lovecraft, his horror is like this terror, this cosmic horror that lives beyond any comprehension. A lot of his stories will read with things saying like the indescribable monster, like things that you cannot describe, you cannot imagine, given true human features or true features that would be recognizable by humans. And that was one of the tensions of reading H.P. Lovecraft back in the day in prose form, was that you didn't know what he was actually describing, in whatever your imagination was telling you is what he was describing could be the most horrific thing you can imagine. So when you're trying to adapt it with artwork, that really adds another layer to the difficulty of adapting a H.P. Lovecraft story. Same thing with trying to adapt his works into movies and things. But I think Gou TANABE just nails it, like absolutely nails it with everything that he does and the things that H.P. Lovecraft was describing. Just really, really beautiful story, and scary and horrific. Truly one of the best horror comics I've read in a very long time. I can't recommend it enough. But if you're a fan of horror manga or horror comics in general, I'd say you have to give this a shot. And this presentation is worth every penny. But this is H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification icon. I am showing off a different horror comic every day of October. And I'm going to have a playlist. If you're just now coming across the channel and viewing this and you feel like you're behind, there's going to be a playlist involved to where you can go there and watch all the videos that have come out this month. But please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of them. And then also give the video a thumbs up and comment down below with your favorite horror comics or horror manga. I want to talk to you about comics. Keep talking comics.